So you says two empty? Is the lady running? Is she running?
She said she's running late. I saw an email. She's on a train, so she'll
Okay,
be here.
all right.
No, that's Aaron. Is Shelley gonna be here tonight?
I think Shelley smartened up and realized she didn't have to be here. She could
No,
watch
she-
this on
no, she-
Sitting and then
cable.
take the,
No, she
and
told
not
me-
have to answer our
Well, the only
questions.
problem is we can't access the room. That's
Right.
happened a couple times.
Well, and we've got some permits to sign, so if she's not here, we can't sign them
Yeah.
unless Gino has them.
I think I've ever done.
Because on several occasions, like I said, we needed to get into a file to see what was on record.
All right, I open up the meeting, 7:02, I'm sorry, I'm late. Actually, my watch says 7, but that's okay.
Close enough.
This is Littleton time,
I understand.
your time.
All right, we have, let me see, nomination inspection, I don't know. I understand we have, one second.
Can I kick this off with board member reports?
Yeah, I get a board member report too, Gino.
Yeah, good, yeah.
Go for it, John.
Okay, so I was contacted yesterday, met with a neighbor of mine
Yeah.
who's here, Chandra, right? Yep. So,
We got it.
and so the long and the short of it is, they're working with a contractor, putting in a design to finish their basement.
Okay,
Feedback from the building inspector is, right now, there's 8 rooms. There'd be 2 rooms in the basement plus a half bath. The inspector said, well, you're gonna need to go to the Board of Health for a variance.
okay.
Now, so they came to me and said, well, what's the process, what should we do? And my suggestion was that we have a discussion first at the Board of Health, because far too frequently, citizens have come in with their engineer requesting
right.
variance, and we've gone back and forth, and then they gotta leave and come back, and then come back. I thought it
We
might be.
supported a lot of boat payments, right?
Right, exactly, engineers and
Lawyers.
the lawyers, thank you, they like that. So I said, why don't we maybe streamline the process, because, make this a little bit more efficient, because it's getting springtime, contractors are gonna get busy, it's gonna be difficult for them to get their project done. To have a discussion of what are the sort of things that we would be looking for, and the best way to get this process moving.
What is it, a 4-bedroom system now?
So,
Okay,
yes,
we're a family of 4, 2 of us and 2 kids. 8
That doesn't matter. All we care about is how many bedroom systems and how many rooms.
4 bedrooms in the second floor and 4 rooms in the downstairs.
and the septic system itself is for a 4-bedroom house, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah, yeah.
And you want to put in how many rooms in the basement?
I want to have one L-shaped area where kids could play and one media room, so that I could separate that area from.
And a bathroom.
Yeah, and a half bath, so that kids don't need to go upstairs.
So you're adding 1 or 2, other than the bathroom, how many rooms are you adding in the basement?
2.
Other than the basement, I have 2
Uh,
rooms. If
2 rooms in the basement. So you'd be going through, so you have 4-bedroom septic, and you'd be going from a 8-room house to a 10-room house.
Right.
Yes.
But the question is, for bedrooms, the way you're gonna lay that out, do they have what they call privacy? In other words, a bedroom's gotta be a certain size, it's got a window and a door. You can't have like 2 doors, one on each end, because that would be not considered to be privacy.
Yeah, there are no windows in that space. Now, again, I'm not trying to use that as a
Yeah.
bedroom as such. I want to have a projector and maybe watch a movie.
So they're kind of blind to what your intents are. They just look at, what's the ceiling height?
If it's a new house, it's probably okay.
About 9 feet, I would say.
Okay, well, the reason I'm bringing, because I've seen it where you can get around the bedrooms. If it's less than 7 feet, it doesn't
Yeah,
count as a
usually
room.
you'll see it in
Drop
attics,
ceilings can come in
attics
handy.
and stuff, but,
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm going for. But yeah.
well, how big are the 2 rooms?
The media room would be a 10 by 16 feet, and the L-shaped area would be about 34, again, it's not exact size, but 34 length and about 26 the other way, because that's what the basement is made of. It's a 34 by 26 area, out of which I plan to have a 10 by 16 for media room, and then other space to be finished, but leave it for the kids to play around.
See, the best thing,
Wouldn't have any doors.
Come again, sorry?
So that play space wouldn't have any doors, no privacy.
Yeah,
right, well, that's the issue. But it's still room count, and generally what we do is we have you do a deed restriction, and it stays with your property, so that no one can put in a bedroom, basically.
Yeah.
But it's good to have, John, it's good to have them draw out a little diagram, doors, any
Yeah.
windows,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. What constitutes a bedroom is a window, privacy, one door in, usually a closet, but the closet is.
So, there are no windows, there are 0 closets.
The
and-
stairway come down into the room?
Co-
The
coming-
stairway come
Yeah,
into the room?
stairway coming down to the room,
You have no window.
But
No
the-
windows.
you must have a bulkhead going out or a walkout.
Bulkhead would be in the L-shaped area. It's not where the media room is gonna be, where the 10 by 16 room is.
Question number one, this is only for discussion, am I correct, John?
Yeah. If not, I suggested
Yeah.
coming here,
Yeah.
sort of get
Yeah.
some
Some
sense, so
input,
then
yeah.
he could go back.
Would you be kind enough to bring some drawing or something like that?
It was submitted to the town for approval. I could definitely come back with the drawing.
Oh, okay.
So what's the next, so is the
And that-
suggested next step then for him to get on the agenda at the next
We
meeting?
can.
With the Shelley where we have it,
Yeah.
and we can vote on the actual
Because
variance?
technically, he can't do anything until we give them approval.
That's
to-
right,
to do
that's
it.
right.
John, I'll go see Shelley tomorrow morning.
So you'll wanna contact Shelley then, right, at the Board of Health, get on the agenda, I think we're meeting next week, I don't think the
In fact, I
agenda's
was
set.
here yesterday.
No, it's not that, next week, yes,
Yeah, we're meeting now next week, cause
Yeah.
there's enough
Oh.
things.
because we missed one.
I was here yesterday afternoon and I did meet her and she told me that she was gonna add me to
So
the-
they have your name
Oh,
and
so-
Okay.
everything?
Yeah.
Good.
They have
So-
your name?
Yeah,
So
we
you
do
wanna
have my
bring-
name, the plan that's proposed
Good.
and all the other details
So
are there.
you may wanna bring the contractor with
Sure.
as well for the discussion, and then we can have the official, I guess then we would have the official,
No problem. As soon as we have
variance
the
vote and
information.
stuff,
everything.
right?
You all set for the next meeting, okay?
Wonderful.
Which will be the.
But it sounds like
28th.
you're on the right track.
Yeah, I think, does this help, Chandra?
No,
Yeah,
that's
good.
very helpful.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right.
All right, you're
So
welcome
would
to
the-
stay
would the
here
next
if you
meeting
want.
be next week or?
Next week.
Yep.
Next week, okay.
Same time.
Tuesday, 7 o'clock.
That's what
Shelley
they
will tell you,
say.
it might actually be later.
Yeah, it
We
gets
schedule a
spoiled.
time for a hearing.
What's
So if
the-
it's
I
8
know,
o'clock, no
right?
reason to show up at 7.
Yeah, okay.
You take care, thank you for coming.
Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Chandra.
Yeah,
All
no
right.
problem.
Appreciate it.
So Gino, I have a quick member update.
Yes, go
So I
ahead.
got called by a former selectman last week.
Yeah,
And I don't know if folks are aware, I certainly wasn't, that there's a new development going in from Northern Bank and Trust down
Yes.
through Subway.
yes,
And the owner of the barber shop, Joe at Yankee Clippard, approached Jim to basically say he'd like to move across the way to basically where the Aubuchon Plaza is.
Okay.
And temporarily set up for 2 years where the Verizon store used to be.
okay,
The problem is that DEP regulations stipulate that your flow rate for either a salon or a barber shop is 100 gallons per chair per day, which puts him at a 800 gallons per day flow rate. Now, he's got a sink in there, but he only uses it because basically the regulations for barber shops require that he has a hair washing sink. So Jim originally told him no, so I checked with DEP, and Jim concurrently checked with DEP and got back to him. There is apparently, we have nothing we can do, it's taken out of our hands, which is kind of, yeah, that's another story.
That's like
But
10,000.
it's taken out of our hands. Essentially, what he can do is he can apply to DEP, it's a $700 permit
okay.
application to consider a lower flow rate. He does have like 3 years worth of water records that show both he and Subway together don't even come anywhere close to that.
Okay.
He would still need to show that whatever his flow rate was, he can plug into what's allowed for the Verizon place over there. And Verizon being retail is a very low amount that's there.
Right, right.
But this is one where, in my mind, while I'm not running for Board of Health again, this is one where it could come to us, we could put a condition, we could watch it and approve this
Hey.
without charging him $700
The
bucks. But we can't do that. So
The
it goes to
issue
DEP.
there is, that's a system that handles several things. That's part of that Toyota development.
The issue
So-
there for him is the flow rate per
But
chair,
it-
which is
it-
outrageous.
But if it doesn't go over what the designed flow rate for the whole system, like say half the stores moved out,
Right,
it wouldn't, you would have all that spare stuff. So they have to look at what is going into the system now, what the system,
There's two issues. The main issue, and the first one, is that he's assumed to do 800 gallons per day.
yep.
And he can't get them to even
But how
consider
much,
that.
how much over is that than what the system designed?
Well, for
Of
his
all
current
the-
system, he's in, but where he's over, it's considerably over. And he doesn't use anywhere near that. So he's got two barriers to cross. One is he's got to convince DEP after he writes him a $700 check, and he has the data. It's easy to show. It's just a meter. He gets a meter reading, and he can show it that he's well below that. Whatever he is, he's got to be able to plug in, but he has to go to DEP with that data.
So we know that he's gonna take care of it, so that.
Well, I don't know about that, but I know we have nothing to do with
I
it.
know, okay, we thank you so much for that. Anything else we have on the agenda?
No, nothing from me.
I understand that, Administrator Mayor.
What happened with that, by the way, that,
When we
house
had a meeting
that is-
together?
Yeah,
Yeah, we have it right here. You have it?
is it in the thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Oh,
I have
sure, yeah.
it, no, I've got mine, that's
Okay,
fine,
all right.
I just didn't,
Well, that's the one we.
It was
we
open
met a
meeting,
couple weeks ago, yeah,
Okay.
so what we have to do is just read that and we'll just wait,
okay. All right.
okay? Because he's not here for one
Yep.
thing, but we'll keep in touch.
Got minutes to do.
Okay, anything else, Administrator Mayor, no? Anything, John, Peter?
Well, you got a
Uh,
bunch of discussions
but what
and
do we-
hearings, you gotta stick to it, so
No
we can
problem,
come
yeah.
back.
Okay, we have the minute, we'll do it later, correspondence update, I have something here to sign. 7:10, I think we have a gentleman here by the name Bartley Harvey. I don't know him, but he's
He's
approaching
taking
us.
your position on the housing plan.
Yeah, I know, yeah,
How you doing, Barlow?
he's my enemy.
I'm here to request, or to talk about an additional space on a house on Gilson Road. I have 4 sets of plans that I can hand out. What we're looking to do is
You know, it's my house.
add an industrial or a business space above the garage. The first drawing is the basement level, which shows, I'm proposing to add some point foundations for the expansion of the garage. And the garage will get bigger, it'll be divided into a clean storage and a dirty storage, just by floor level. There's a considerable amount of material that's stored as part of this business. And then the second floor is a loft workspace for the Cloak and Dagger business, which has been in town for a number of years. And Mrs. Flockhart wishes to, or is moving her business to her house, and she needs this space. There's no plumbing involved, and so we're just asking for your permission to do this. I talked to Jim Gareffi in February about this project. I showed him a slightly different version of these drawings. The layout was a little bit different, but the concept and the spatial relationships were all the same. And he said he had no problem with it.
Well, the problem
And
is,
it's
where is the septic system in relation to all this?
Okay, it's in the backyard. It's out here somewhere.
Bartlett?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Thank you.
How many bedrooms is it?
It's a 3-bedroom house, and it's a 4-bedroom system. And, okay, here's the Gilson Road house, the leaching field.
And where is this going on? This is,
This is over the garage, so
Okay.
we're gonna go in the air,
the garage is
outside.
existing,
yes.
and you're gonna go over the garage,
Over the garage,
so the footprint isn't changing at all.
except for some.
expands a
points
little bit.
here.
You
But,
just it's just the loft space on the,
yeah, just the loft
You're
space.
essentially adding one large room over the.
We're essentially adding one large room. I'm supporting it with an expanded garage. And there won't be any plumbing in there. I know that doesn't make any difference, except possibly for some radiant heat in the floor, but that's,
What is
That's
the,
it.
what is the system designed for now? 4-bedroom, 8-bedroom?
it's a 4-bedroom system.
And it's got 3 bedrooms in the house now.
Well, Jim says the addition of the business would exceed the design sewerage flow for the dwelling. I don't know what that's based on.
Well, the question I was gonna ask, is there, for a given business, similar to salons or whatever, that you're allowed a flow rate, and that, even though it's a 4-bedroom system, adding an at-home business exceeds that flow rate?
The conversation that I had with Mr. Gareffi included the building inspector, and the consensus was that we were limited to 1 employee in this space. So we're not adding a lot of people.
Just one
Just
individual.
one individual employee, no more.
You
There's a
have-
limit,
You have to put a
and-
restriction there.
and there's also, he wanted a deed restriction.
Yeah,
So unfortunately, Jim gives us notes on this.
Right.
Unfortunately, what
Okay.
he's saying conflicts a little bit, and I don't doubt you,
Oh.
Arlen. But what here's Jim's. Representative of the owner has presented a plan to add a business to this property. The addition of the business would exceed the design sewage flow rate for the dwelling. And I think what we need to rectify is there's assigned sewage float rates to different types of businesses, and there's those for homes, and I think there's a calculation that we need to figure out.
Well, that's why I don't understand exactly what he's talking about, because,
Actually, I think I can shed some light on this. I talked to two architects, and the other one was Richard Schreiber, and Richard also talked to Jim, and he had a different design. That's
So-
one of the reasons why we went with Bartlett's design instead, was because it was adding less.
Okay. I think what we need to do is clarify with Jim, because he's told
Okay.
you something differently than he's telling
All right.
us.
All right, well, at that time, we told him that one of the rooms in the basement was used as a bedroom. So he was looking at what I said was a four-bedroom house with a four-bedroom system.
Four-bedroom with an addition of another room.
But that, I mean, I haven't been down there, but I'm told that there's, the ceiling height it's not a legal bedroom by the code definition, yeah.
Well, is this just an expansion of a loft space, or is it, I mean, how do you define business? Like, I don't know if
She
this
stated
is,
her intention to run a business out of there.
and that's the
Well,
definition?
to make clothing, costumes.
does it have windows in the basement?
Yes. In the window, it does, in the basement, there are windows.
Okay, I don't, we're not gonna say no or yes. I understand that there might be some
Right.
disagreement here. The question is, so we get something from the inspector, because we have nothing from him exactly. Okay, only specify that it exceed the floor. Now, we will talk, and then you come back next week.
Well, I think
Okay.
it might be helpful if you called Jim and clarify to make sure everybody's talking about the same plans. Because
Okay.
it sounds like several have been
Well, he-
presented to Jim, and he may be speaking to a different set, though.
Right.
As I read it, and there's not a lot of detail, it seems like the issue may be there's a different flow rate associated with a
Right.
business than with a house.
Right.
Because if this were just.
generally, it is. I mean, if you're gonna have a business, you open a business up downtown Littleton, like they already have, you have to have a public bathroom usually. Where this is gonna be run in the house,
Yeah, it's only one.
and they're only
individual.
gonna have, how much?
One.
One employee.
One employee.
Yeah, but how many times would people come in today? Would they come in all week? Or just certain days, or,
Are you saying would I have an
Customers,
employee
I'm
come in all
assuming.
week?
yeah,
If- Instead of one full-time employee, what I have is contractors who come and pick up.
Right, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, 'cause that,
so you're not gonna have a public bathroom, basically.
No.
it's not a commercial building, that's
No.
why I was
Well, I
asking.
know, but you're still,
How
you
you
know,
define
where,
a business.
where
We've given
Jim's
up-
coming up with
We've given
the
up on foot
design.
traffic.
flow.
Right,
Yeah.
I think Jim's calculating a higher design flow, because otherwise, if this was, you were just making it your study.
Yeah,
You get a four-bedroom system, you get a three-bedroom house, you're adding one Mugats, everything's
no
cool.
problem.
Yeah.
I think what may be throwing Jim off and what we need to clarify in order to
How
conclude
it's
this
being
discussion
used.
is, how is he viewing this? What are the flow rates associated with the added use? And how does that line up with what the DEP regs say?
See, I don't see it. You know, there's one employee
I
and.
don't think
there's-
we
I don't
should-
see a problem,
Yeah.
but we've got Jim telling us it exceeds the flow rate without more detail.
But to
so.
make sure you come back next week, we'll have everything all taken care of.
So you're gonna
Okay.
file a doing business as a DBA with that address, or is your corporation gonna be
I
there?
actually filed as a DBA for 12 years at that address.
Okay.
Then moved to the center of town for another 12 years.
Okay, we'll sell it for next week, and you have no problem. Okay?
Actually, I think the building inspector still has, I think he has it still listed as a
If we
dual
need
address.
somebody to sign papers here.
Gino, do you want to have a discussion with Jim as well?
Oh, yes, yes. I will.
And Barbara, I would suggest you call him.
Right, I'll call him tomorrow.
Empty paper here.
I think we need to make sure everybody's working off the same set of information, that's the only
She
route.
said she's coming today.
All right.
Thanks. Yep.
Thank you. Sorry about, okay, would you be kind enough, everybody put their name here? I'm not gonna charge anything, you know?
Do you want us down there?
Yeah, we shall sign it. Okay, I'll leave my pen.
You're gonna get spam email for the Knights of Columbus, though.
At a 7:20?
Yep, yep, okay, the discussion, 370 is not here, but,
Neighbors are.
okay.
Yep.
Okay, let me see, where did I see that? I have something here. You got it over there, don't you?
Well, you got a couple letters from Vinnie
Right, I'm looking at it.
Mueller.
Not here.
So there's a packet,
Well, I don't,
there's a packet
I know.
to Richie from the Board of Health.
I know.
And then as part of that, in the back, I think are Vinnie's
Oh, yeah, I got it.
correspondence.
Yeah, I think he has 2 emails there that he
Yeah.
sent.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna open the meeting for 7:20, which is 7:25 almost, oh, I'm getting late. All right, on, well,
But I think the question, if I understand
Wait a
the
minute,
question right, was when are they gonna move the piles
Why
out?
haven't
Pile,
they?
right.
And what are we gonna do to make them?
All
That's
right.
the question.
Well, I was down there and I looked at them, there was no activity
I don't
on
care.
them. Well,
But he made a commitment to this board, and I want to see that commitment met.
I'm not supporting it.
Well, you haven't supported any of this, so I don't know why you'd start now.
All right, some has complained that Mr. Hallinan has never written us, let us know is progressive, you know, like you people would like to, I do receive, actually, the email that he used to send to us was actually sent it to a prior agent, prior member, which is not here no longer.
So Anne Laurie had sent up a Littleton Board of Health
Okay.
at gmail.com, and according
Okay.
to Vinnie, they have been sending emails
So-
there, which is why we didn't get the updates.
He faithfully sent all the upkeep, and if you people like to read it, I'll let you read it, because I'm surprised that this came late, and I'm sure that is not his fault, because when I saw him, I said, you know, you gotta send some information, he did. And I didn't believe him at first, but then when our administrator mentioned, and we have the letter, if you like to read it, go ahead, you read it.
Well, the bottom line is, I think it's
No,
less
let-
about the updates, which we
let-
didn't get, and we had
let-
noted several
Let him
times.
read it, let him read it, it's fine.
I think what they wanna do is, at one point, they committed to a date by which they would have all the
Right,
compost material
right.
off the site.
But I don't think,
I believe that into the interim, we extended that somewhat, but I
Right.
think he's also beyond that at this point.
right.
Well, we didn't do it definite because, first of all, there was no activity, there was no
No
churning.
movie or
No,
anything.
he's-
the
he's-
reason-
he's turning it.
Reason it made sense that that time of year, there was no demand for any of the leaf compost. So the issue was, do you have somebody take it out, put it somewhere else, go through all that expense, fuel and all the stuff that you do,
Not my
to
problem.
put it somewhere else, so that in the spring they can use it, and it didn't make a lot of sense. That's why we said, fine, it's not affecting anything, it's there. It would make no sense to move it, let them move it when they're gonna need it, and that's what they do, they're gonna start moving it. And it should be out, I would say forthcoming,
Well, he's saying July, June or July.
whatever is.
So I think that's not, it'd be good to go back and look at the minutes, because I don't think that's entirely accurate. What is accurate is we needed to wait for the composting itself to finish.
Right.
Which you
So-
did.
It has, and he's admitted that the composting process is complete.
But back in the summer, my recollection is he felt the fall it would be completed, and in the fall, he would be able to move it out, and he had committed to us verbally of it being gone December,
On paper as well.
December
right?
1st.
Right?
December 1st. On paper, the plan delivered to this board.
Right. So I think the concern, and certainly concern I have, and the question I have, is there anything we can do about it? The concern is, he hasn't met that.
He requested an extension, and, so we did have a date,
Right.
Peter. We had a
Right.
date where he said he would have it out by, which
Right.
he did not meet. My recollection was at some point during the year, he came and asked for an extension, and Shelley's not here.
Yeah, towards the end of the year, he
And we
Right,
did give it.
and we gave him an
October.
extension. I don't have the notes. I don't know when it goes to. He seems to have, but he had to request that and we had to approve it. And I don't think it went to July, but I could be wrong.
I thought
Now
it
he's saying
was, thought
June
it
or
was
July.
spring, because they were talking spring. moving
Well, now
stuff.
he's saying June or July, which by most calendars I think is summer.
Right.
And he's assuming we're gonna give him that date. Now, we've played kind of loose, and we've extended. And I get where he's coming from. He's composted, he's not bringing new material in. I think folks have been out there, I haven't, and people have verified that. But he wants to wait till there's a market to get rid of it, and that's extending the deadline to get it out of there by. And which you guys find unacceptable. I guess one of the questions I have, and I understand why you're upset that there's not meeting the timeline, but if he's not bringing new stuff in, it's done composting, there's still an odor from this, what is the concern?
Well, if you start moving it and spraying off of the property, it's gonna start smelling when you start lifting it up and moving it around. This was supposed to be done December 1st. That was a plan he created. It wasn't something I came up with. It wasn't something you came up with. It's something him and Boston Bart came up with. And quite frankly, I don't care if it costs them money to take it off the property and hold it somewhere else, because they started this operation based on false information getting a permit. So this is almost 4 years that they've had this problem, sustained this problem, and it's done nothing to rectify this problem. So that's the cost of doing business. When you venture out, you start a new business, there's costs associated with it. And when you don't follow the rules, it gets costly. That's how it works. This is the real world. I mean, this doesn't seem like the real world, but outside, in the real world, you hit deadlines, you make commitments, you get fired, or you get penalized. Unfortunately, in Littleton, that doesn't seem to happen.
Do we have is there somehow that we can do enforcement? I don't even know.
Yes, we have well, here's the question. We have the ability to issue orders around nuisances, which this at one point in time, I think the board decided, I think it was the spring, made the level of a nuisance. And we have the ability to write orders to abate those nuisances under state law. Theoretically, we could still do that. The question is, now that this is composted, he would argue that this is no longer a nuisance. We could write it and challenge it, that's where we stand. But we could, in theory at least, as long as this board declared it a nuisance, we could say, there's a nuisance, you agreed to abate it, we gave you a certain amount of time, you didn't meet it, you need to remove this material from here. If I were his lawyer, I would turn around and say, look, this was true when it was during the composting process. It's now fully composted or largely composted. There are no odors, and therefore it is not a nuisance. That would be this board's call.
Okay, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make them come next week, okay? So you give us the update. You don't have to come.
No, I
You
do
don't
have to come,
Well,
because
if
then
you
I
wanted to
hear.
Yeah, I'm not sure he can add anything. We've got his
No, I
reports,
know,
we
but
know what he wants,
I'd like
we've
to
been
go
out there,
through
we've
some
got all
of
the
my
neighbors
concerns
here.
at some point as well.
She might understand him better than I.
I gave
No,
him
so-
3
We
years
suppose
before
they
I
supposed
called
to
him.
do this, supposed to do that.
No.
Okay.
Look, this has not been any more clear to him. And the longer we wait, I think Brad is right, they're looking for favorable market to move things. And nowhere in our discussions did we say, yeah, sure, when you've got a favorable market, you can move things. We agreed when it was finished composting, then you move it. I frankly don't care if he dumps it in Nagog Pond.
But the-
I think town of Concord would.
I don't live there, so I don't care.
What's the downside of giving him a nuisance order? I mean, at this point, he hasn't done what he said.
Well, you could get into a legal hassle.
So for us, we're gonna have Sherry Gould in here passing out candies to Gino, arguing that he's no longer a nuisance, right?
Well, the candy won't make any
You've seen
difference.
that.
I know,
I've
I'm
seen
I'm
that
teasing
before.
him. But she will probably come back and argue it's no longer a nuisance. For them, the downside is they're gonna have to basically take on the cost of moving this to another spot and then selling it. So, for us, the downside is we may get into a prolonged legal battle.
So, what would a legal battle, I mean, are we gonna have our lawyers respond?
Town lawyers.
Potentially.
They would have to respond?
No, they would have to respond, and what his lawyer would do would drag this out until the spring, he can sell it anyway.
You more aggravate, the situation is gonna get even longer, okay?
It won't be
Now,
longer.
Wait a minute, now, listen, they came here, we gave them we let them read what it was done. They were complaining because we didn't have any mail or something, all of a sudden, we received the mail and the explanation is right there. So, I'm saying, I'm gonna make them come next week, and that's final, that's it.
I don't know
And if
that-
you like to
wait.
come, you
Prepared
come,
statements
well,
that
we'll
I'd like
send
to
you
share.
something in the house.
So-
I have prepared statements
That's
I'd
it.
like to
So hold
share
on a
the
second.
record.
So just a second. So Gino, I don't think you can say you're gonna make him come. I think as a board, we're gonna agree on what we're gonna do or vote on it, on
Well,
what
you
we're
can
gonna
vote
do.
it. You can
So,
vote.
so let me,
Go ahead.
and certainly, so, you look back on the letter that Richie was sent
Right.
from Jim,
Right.
and it does say, in November he came and said, request extension from December 1st to June 1st of 2017 to remove the material. All right,
It was June, huh?
Yeah.
so it was June based on these, on the letter
So
from
June,
June.
what about June?
June 1st was, he requested an extension to have till June 1st of this year of 2017
Right.
to remove the material. Now, these aren't official minutes that says we voted on and approved, it just said he requested, we'd have to go look.
Right, right.
So, my proposal would be, if back in our minutes says that we've approved that, my proposal is, he has until then to get it out, that if it's not out,
Then we get them.
but we set this in motion now, not set it in motion so that June 2nd, there's an action.
Right.
I think the issue at hand is we get to, and this is the frustration, it's certainly an irritation on my end, is we get to a deadline, it doesn't happen, there's this discussion. Yeah, go ahead. There's a discussion, and then dates are moved. And every time there's a discussion, it's, well, we'll wait till that date,
Well-
and then we'll talk and decide what to do.
And
I
it's worse
wanna
than
know-
that, where if you read his letter, he said, well, June or July.
Right,
We've only
now it's
approved him
June
to
or July.
No.
Right, right.
According
So-
to that, I remember we extended him for a date, I don't remember, apparently it's
Right.
June according to that.
According to that.
But he's already saying July, and he hasn't even
Right.
come before us to
So-
ask.
So,
Why can't we issue an order to abate the nuisance based on this paper trail and give him that date? So
yeah,
the
that's
order's-
what, that's
That's, I
exactly
think,
it.
what John's
That's-
leading
Yeah,
up to.
I
I thought you
think
were
that's
gonna
where
put the
I'm
order
trying
out
to,
if you
yeah,
didn't
get
make
to,
it.
yes.
You put it
is-
out now.
What's
you
the
give him date.
mechanism?
So we write an order to put ensconce, because he's already pushing the envelope
Right.
from,
Right.
in the letter, he doesn't seem to get June, so ensconce it in an order that it shall be out by June 1st.
Yeah.
So he's gotta-
And what's, so then I think then my next question is, what's our enforcement to that? What happens June 1st, it's not done? Then what do we do?
We go to the town council and say, hey, we've been waiting a long time for this to go through. That's it, we put.
Is that it?
Mass General Law, Chapter
That's it.
111, I think Section 125A, and there are enforcement abilities granted to us through the state there.
Is it levy fine,
I don't.
fines?
But the question is, you got, one way or the other, you still have to wait. So you can't wait
But
till
it's not
next week,
just-
you wait until June.
Well, Gino, here's my issue with next week. How many people are neighbors? Raise your hands, please. So we've had 3 people who came and spent the night.
Yeah.
He knew this was here. He couldn't make it. Vinny couldn't make it. I don't think we're gonna get any new information.
No.
So I like everybody here too. He had it, he couldn't make it. But these people have taken time to
I
come out.
understand.
He had the ability, Vinny had the ability, they had the ability to put stuff in writing, which they did. I'm comfortable with the amount of information we have, which is Vinny wants to wait until June or July now. We've agreed to extend it to June. I don't have a problem with writing an order, and let's say, okay, enough's enough, it's gonna be June. That gives him time where he's got the market, which we previously agreed to, he can sell it. But if he's not done with June, we just gotta close the door and say, it's out by June.
No extension.
I agree with you.
That's it, no
That's-
extension.
that seems-
After that, that's it.
To me, where we're at
Very
now.
well said.
They've
No.
been patient enough. All right.
And there's no downside to the order if he complies with it.
So,
And if he said July, he'll have a minimum amount he's got to truck to Vinny's place in Walpole.
It shouldn't be a
Waltham.
problem. He told us he was gonna get out June
Yeah,
first.
he also told us November, so
No,
and he's already
no,
pushing
I-
it.
I get that, but
Yeah.
it shouldn't be a problem.
No.
Well,
because
and it'll
he's
be
already
less
said
of a
it.
problem because theoretically, the landscape market, and if it ever becomes
That's-
spring.
Right, this spring already.
So there, I don't know what they are, I don't have in front of me, they are enforcement, I don't know what's, we're fine, we go to court, but there basically are penalties for this. I don't know the process, I'm not sure if it's a civil penalty where we can write them a ticket, or if it's a court-induced thing, but there are penalties for that.
okay, and so what's our next step? What's our action?
Somebody makes a motion, which I can do, basically making a motion, I would make a motion for the board to issue an order, and we may need to check the reference with Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 111. Aaron's checking, I believe it's 125A, to issue a nuisance order, would have him abate this and remove all composted material by June 1st, 2000.
Which I think is reasonable.
Okay,
I second that.
all in favor?
I,
So we did cut, you had some.
You can still, well,
That's
yeah, you
it.
got a hearing, you
I
got a
wanna
hearing.
remind, I want this on record.
Ready.
That's it. That's it.
well,
That's it.
Yeah, go
people should
ahead.
get him to speak, Gino. It's a
Are
public
you
meeting.
serious?
Go ahead, go ahead. I'm talking not to you. You understand that?
I hope
Okay, I'm
not.
talking to the board,
I hope not.
okay? So I want you to be comfortable.
So next month, the composting operation, so I'm Nicole O'Mahony, I live on 3 Colonial Drive, I'm in a butter. The composting operation will be in existence for 4 years. This started 4 years ago. Throughout the 4 years, you have heard complaints from myself and many neighbors. According to meeting minutes of the Board of Health on June 28th, Richard Halloran and Boston Bark agreed to have all compost removed from 370 Howard by December 1st. In the following meeting, the board asked Richard Halloran to provide monthly status updates on removal. These updates were agreed to by Richard Halloran. The board asked this of Richard Halloran to ensure that progress was being made and December 1st commitment would be met. No status reports were provided. On January 10th, the Board of Health asked Richard Halloran to provide an update to the Board of Health. He did not attend. At a site visit on 1/16, the Board of Health noted a significant amount of compost still on the property. As an abutting neighbor whose private drinking well is within 250 feet of Richard Halloran's property, I have been very vocal and insistent that this operation come to a close. As mentioned, this topic has dragged on for almost 4 years. Based on the proximity of private wells, this operation should never have started. The permit was authorized on false, or incomplete information. Support from the Board of Health throughout this ordeal has waxed and waned. At times, the Board of Health was out in the neighborhood aware and tracking all complaints. However, at other times, I feel the Board of Health has demonstrated bias and lacked the will to establish and sustain authority with Richard Halloran and Boston Bark. It is quite obvious to me that the relationship of some members of the board and Richard Halloran is friendly and on occasion familial. The overwhelming number of concerned citizens have done little to close, the Board of Health has done little to close the operation on behalf of a number of concerned citizens in the face of one citizen and Boston Bark, which is an external company. I am asking that the Board of Health evaluate the compost and determine if the compost extends within 250 feet of all private wells.
What's the DEP regulation? Because he was,
250 feet.
my understanding is DEP's already determined, and first of all, I do want to respond just to one thing. So, one, it's DEP issued the permit, not us.
No, I
just
know.
want to be clear. Second, the bottom line here, the problem with this to begin with, and I'm not, this was a zoning issue from the beginning,
And
and
I've
zoning
approached the
hasn't dealt with
zoning
it.
board, and
Yeah.
I can't get to them because of Sherry, the lawyer. I can't
Yeah.
talk to them.
But I mean, essentially, this is a commercial, not a farming operation. He doesn't enjoy the exemptions. It never should have been put there on the zoning board. With that said, I think
can't
we've
get-
tried to do our best we had to document it. I do agree it's dragged on longer than it should have, and I think it's time to put it to bed with this June 1st deadline. It's
I
120.
want to know if it's within the 250 feet perimeter of my well. I know the DEP, I don't know if they went back out when they said they were gonna go back out and find out or not. I wanted to put financial penalties in for Boston Bark to meet commitments. Additionally, I shared an article with you about Boston Bark in Waltham, and I think this shows that they show absolute disregard to Concord, Littleton, and Waltham, and I don't know why we continue to let them work here in Littleton. And I guess I'd like to just close and ask yourselves, if you were in my position, if you believe you should be reelected to this Board of Health. I have been extremely disappointed with the support. I don't feel I've been heard. I don't feel that there's been good communication. I feel like I've been ignored. It wasn't until my last email where I included a dozen plus neighbors where I actually finally got a response from the Board of Health. This has gone on for far too long, and I think it's because, I don't know why, but I'm so insanely disappointed, and I'd ask yourself, if you were me, if you would reelect this board for the town of Littleton.
You repeated twice. I think the decision should be made by the people for Littleton. I think myself, the board, I'm very proud of the board. They do a
Good for you.
very good job.
I think
The
it was a
question is,
rhetorical question.
there is only one or two
I have
individuals.
pleaded with you specifically for
I
help.
understand. I don't mean to be rational or be, to displace you now, but we do have another meeting now.
Okay.
Okay?
So just for clarification, the order should reference section 125, removal of a nuisance by the board.
Okay,
So it's 125, not A.
Okay.
A is the
Alright.
exemption that he's pretending for us.
so we thank you for your.
So before we move on, though, I
introduction.
do want a clarification. One is regarding the location of the compost within 250.
Mhm.
It's my recollection, and again, I don't, we'd have to go back and look at minutes, but it's my recollection after subsequent visits by the DEP,
then
they were outside the 250.
Yes.
So
That's
what I can do to
recall, but
confirm
I
that,
don't
though,
know.
I can write to Jim and Mike Penny at DEP, who's,
Right.
it's really their jurisdiction, we don't have it. I can write to them tomorrow and clarify in time for the next board meeting, and happy to forward it to you, whether the composted material is outside. Now, we still have that issue with the berm, which we didn't resolve to my liking either, but that was a DEP call, not ours. But what I can do is I can write to Mike Penny, who's the gentleman DEP, and Jim, my understanding is both been out there. My understanding was it had been confirmed that it was outside the 250-foot, but I can make sure.
I was just worried because the letter said significant amount of composting material. And when we looked at the map with the 250 feet for private wells, there was a very limited amount of space.
Well, he was under an order from DEP, but I'm not a DP, but I will verify that they followed up and it's outside the 250-foot.
And then,
Pretty sure they did.
I think it's chapter 111, but I think that it's section 123 through 125. So 123 is abatement by the owner. So we can give him an order, the owner occupant or private, at his own expense, remove any nuisance within 24 hours or within such other time as it considers reasonable,
go.
which we're gonna say June 1. This is section 123. If he does not comply, he's gonna forfeit not more than $1,000 for every day during which he knowingly violates the order. So that, and what happens after that?
Can you go back, what is the enforcement
Sorry.
mechanism on that?
Shall forfeit not more than $1,000.
Okay.
And then what happens under section 124? That's on the service of the abatement, so I think we should be citing that. And 125 is removal by the board. If he doesn't do it, we can have it removed and then send him the bill.
So I can work with Shelley to make sure the order is drafted correctly and gets around to folks, but you're right, it should reference all three sections at
Title
least.
16.
so that answers your two
Okay.
primary things you wanted actions on, right? Understanding what enforcement we have,
We'll take care of
how
the
we
200.
take care of it, which is gonna be, and then also understanding if the composting is outside
And
that
I'd asked
radius.
to find out if you actually did agree on the June.
We should clarify
Extension.
what that date was, because that was a secondhand reference, I agree.
Yep, yep.
Thank you, I'm sorry if I was a little rough on you guys. Thank you.
Wish you were rough on someone else sometimes, not just me.
Can I just get that site plan back?
Oh, here you go.
Thanks.
Want these two?
Well, take one, sure.
Just
You
gonna go
want
in
this
Woodstow
too?
Bar.
Want these back for any?
I don't particularly need them right now, but you need some for your
We should have,
records,
we
don't you?
need one for Shelley, that's all. So, anyway, if you don't need them, thank you,
We'll
Bradley.
keep,
Yeah, put that up with your pile.
okay.
Gino, you're 15 minutes
7:20.
behind, you're gonna
Yeah.
move this along, man.
It's my fault. 7:40.
30.
What are you talking about? Oh, Maple Road. Anybody from Maple? 7:30? Sorry about that. Oh, boy. Okay. 7:30, okay. Variance, you're looking for a variance, setback conditions. Do you have any documents that you have here? You'll send it to us already?
Yeah, you should have that already.
Okay, you guys can come up to the table and sit. So,
Yeah, you sit down with us. We
You can
don't-
take our spot.
We don't bite.
apparently they may.
I don't think so. I'm all set, you guys can have that.
Sorry about that.
I was going on Maplehurst, if you can explain it, why we all find it.
Oh, okay, so we are asking for a variance to come within the 10 feet of our septic tanks for a handicap accessible addition for our daughter. We had Peter Karb do an initial architectural design, and he measured to the cap and estimated. So, and with that estimate, we could go out 16 feet from our existing house. But when I checked with the plans, when we had the septic done, we only actually had 11 feet and not 14 that he estimated. So it did put us within the 10 feet.
So it's 10 feet of fill to lot line? Is that the variance you want?
No,
So the-
foundation to
The
tank.
foundation
to
to
the
tank.
tank.
Okay,
So we would be 7 feet from the tank.
this is what it looks like.
Yeah, I saw that, but do we have,
I don't
the
think
folder
Jim.
here?
Jim didn't cover
Jim
this
does-
one.
Yeah,
Yeah, he didn't give us anything.
but it's on the agenda, so I think we should deal with it
Yeah.
nonetheless. So the only variance you're looking is basically the 10 feet from
Yeah.
the,
Yep, we're not encroaching on it, side property lines or anything like that, just our own
Well,
tank.
what are you putting in, a slab?
No, we're gonna do the 4-foot frost wall.
But there's no full foundation, you're not gonna be
Nope, just,
space there.
No, there won't be no living space in that, there'll be a crawl space underneath the addition.
so crawl space, they're putting for the frost, they're going down 4 feet with basically a,
frost barrier,
Well, even with
yeah.
a slab, you have to do that too,
Yeah.
a lot of times.
We had contemplating, from Roland, he had mentioned doing sonotubes, but because there's gonna be a plumbing under there for the bathroom and the heating, our contractors have advised that that's not a good idea.
yeah, it's a lot easier to insulate with.
Again, what was the reason for putting on the addition? Was it handicap person?
Yeah, our daughter's handicapped.
Sometimes you can come under a hardship. I forget what all the ramifications are of the hardship.
I think you need to have an existing footprint, don't you?
Well, they got an existing footprint.
But I don't think that's the issue. The issue here, it sounds like the septic is of appropriate bedroom size for the addition. It's
Yes.
just, you've got to basically, or you're building it to meet the appropriate. It's just, the only variance they're looking for is the distance from the foundation for the,
What, and how much would it be?
It would be 7 feet from the tank.
Well, you could do the variance and just to play it safe, have them put a
membrane.
membrane up.
Is it,
What did Jim have to
is it
say?
the, is it
Doesn't
10
say
feet of
much.
the foundation where there's a basement space there, or the frost wall?
It's just frost wall.
Yeah, they're within 10 feet of the frost wall,
Yeah.
not of the livable entry space.
Well,
No,
that's what I was asking.
But why do you even need a membrane? There's no, it's not like it's gonna seep into a living space.
no, it's
Well,
not.
that's true, it's just insurance, I guess. I forget exactly what the requirements, we've run into that before with,
I think, I'd always assumed that the 10-foot distance would be to make sure nothing seeped into interior space.
well, it is, that's,
And
that's.
but they don't have all they,
There won't be interior space.
well, I guess you could, if it seeped in there, it could come up under the floorboards, I guess, so a membrane wouldn't hurt.
But Jim didn't comment on this at all, whether
It's
it,
not in his packet.
Jim's been busy.
Well, according to, Shelby, it might be something that.
What?
Tank.
To the
Tank.
tank.
So I'm comfortable with it without the membrane.
well, I am too, but I just wanna make sure that we're doing the right thing here. Let me see if I can find.
Just so I understand, because I know it's just a drawing, just a hand sketch, but this is the, sort of the room we're talking about?
No, so see how there's, okay, you can,
This right here exists as a porch already.
Oh, I see, okay. Yep.
That'll to come down, and then a TV room will be built here, but it'll also be part of the whole handicap accessibility.
So
There'll
that-
be a ramp that comes around here, and then a handicap
Okay.
throughway. And the bath is gonna be fully handicap accessible with the roll-in shower and all that, because she's in a wheelchair. And this will be her PT room and handicaps, equipment storage area.
Why did you say something?
Yep.
There's a lot of equipment that goes along with her, and her house is kind of cramped as it is. And more space for that.
Okay.
yeah, we're running into problems where at school, when she has a break, like a week or so, because we can't fit a stander in the house, she's not on her feet. Like, she's getting too heavy for us to keep her on her feet. So we need to get a stander in there, but they take up a lot of space, and we've already got like, it's 3 bedrooms, we're a family of 5, and so we're just kind of running out of space to take care of her, and we really want to keep her at home.
So is there a specific variance?
There is, I don't know the number, but I think Shelley can probably find it. I'd make a motion to approve a variance for, what number Maplehurst?
9.
9 Maplehurst Road for variance from the distance of, from the septic tank to the foundation wall from 10 feet to 7 feet, with Shelley to fill in the appropriate citation.
You got a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I still think we should make sure we,
But, we
I'm,
may-
I'm for doing it, but I'd like to see
Yeah. Me too,
which
me too,
variance, but I know this is a hardship one too.
right.
It's
And
definitely a
it's
hardship one
consideration on
that,
to
because
think
we've
of, yeah.
had that before with a handicapped person. And they added a room on,
Okay,
and we were able to do it under the hardship.
Yeah,
did it
but
I
that,
don't, I don't remember.
that would get you around a whole bunch of stuff that they really don't even need to get around here.
No.
So we just give them the variance, that's all you're looking for, right?
That's all we're looking for.
So, I would agree if they had 3-bedroom septic and 3 existing bedrooms and we need to put like a deed restriction on one, I think that's what let you do that with an existing footprint, but this one's pretty straightforward.
Yep.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hey, catching up, Gene, you're only 12 minutes behind now, but good, keep it going.
Keep it going. You wanna go home already?
Hey, you're buying me beer.
Oh, I see. You gave me a hard time, then I gotta buy you beer. Okay,
That's how it
hearing
works.
410 Newtown Road. Who's that?
No, you got,
Nope, 17 Roxbury.
Jumping
way
ahead
ahead of
again.
yourself.
Yep.
Well, I marked it, so I thought I heard it already. Oh, it's you. All right, I marked it, so I thought you'd be all done. You had a septic system variance, that's what you got? You already sent it out? Anybody here from? Anybody here? You are?
17 Roxbury.
Yeah, thank you.
Give me 67 of you.
Roxbury?
Ooh, a tight tank.
4, 5, 6, 7.
Why am I not
No,
surprised?
no, this is 17 Roxbury.
17, I went too far out.
Yeah,
I'm
he-
sorry.
This is
17
17
Roxbury.
Okay, is it? Yes, it would be, right, yeah, okay.
Okay,
I'm Kirk Fitzpatrick with Civil Solutions. I'm here with Peter Scott for his property at 17 Roxbury Drive. Basically, what I have proposed before you is a redesign of a repair for existing, actually, it's a proposed 2-bedroom house. It's got an existing 2-bedroom house on it now. So Mark and Ruben had done a previous design.
We went before on the same house?
Yeah,
What'd you do? You decided to tear it down?
No, it's just this is a much better design, has
Okay.
less fill, it's a better design.
so previously they had proposed a stone pipe leach field. It was actually gonna be a pump system with a tank out in the front, and they're pumped up to the leach field in the back, with a retaining wall around the perimeter. The maximum height of that wall was gonna be a little over 5 feet. We redesigned
Greg, you
it.
got another thing there, all I have was the small one, I can't read the small.
got a big one?
This is the only one I brought. One more.
Are folks abutters or neighbors here? Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So the system was previously designed with a system composed of a stone leach field. There's gonna be a pump system with a septic tank out front, a 2-compartment tank with the second compartment being used as a pump chamber, pump the liquid up to the back. The house in the front, and the system was gonna be completely surrounded by a concrete retaining wall. And the top of the wall, at the worst point, was gonna be a little over 5 feet tall. So we've redesigned it using the Presby EnviroSeptic. We've actually moved the tank to the back. It's gonna be a gravity system as opposed to a pump system. And we're asking for reduction in the groundwater offset, which is allowable with the use of the Presby. And it helps reduce the height of the wall, so now the maximum height of the wall is gonna be under 4 feet.
So you're reducing the retaining wall.
Correct. And actually, we were able to eliminate the retaining wall across the back.
But that's going down to the 2 feet
Correct.
offset for the Presby.
And the Presby has, where they calculate the breakout grading from is lower than what they'd use for a stone bed, so it also helped with the height.
Question I have is kind of, we've been doing that a lot lately, going from the 4 feet to the 2 feet.
Yep.
Not only with you guys, but a lot of the other engineering groups and everything, and it seems to be acceptable, it keeps the system down, as you say here, it's gravity feed and
Yep.
stuff. But the only question I think I have, Jim always is looking to go that extra foot to 3 feet. But my question to you is, how's the longevity been on these things that when they're going in at 2 feet? Have they had any testing or anything to,
I've never heard of an issue. We've been installing them like that since 1996.
so
There's
it's,
certain towns that don't even require us to go before
it's
the
a hard
board for
question
approval.
because you don't know what a person's doing with the system either, but I was just curious because there seems to be a little bit of not disconnect between what Jim likes and what we've been doing.
He's a rule is a rule kind of guy, which isn't bad, I'm not knocking
Well,
him.
no,
but,
I think he, in a lot of occasions, like we just had one up near your place, and when you got talking to the engineers, the reason they wanted to go down to 2 feet instead of having the 3-foot offset was the slope,
Right.
you know, and so
Well,
they're out
Star
there
Road,
and they're
right.
dealing with it. Jim isn't. You know, he's looking at it at the,
I mean, the way that the DP approval letter for the use of the Presby, it allows for a 2-foot offset to groundwater. Because the system does provide enhanced
So
treatment.
it's our regulations that you want the variance from, not.
No, Jim's interpretation is that the
Oh, that's
approval
right, we're done
says
with this, yeah.
up to 2 feet, but it allows for a 2-foot offset.
His note here says, and I actually talked to him today about this, that this was a one-bedroom house, and that DEP has been out on the site and looked at it, and the code would require the house remain a one-bedroom dwelling. This interpretation was confirmed by DEP on a couple of sites they reviewed.
I'm gonna let Peter address that, because I was not involved with that initial, but it has an existing permit for 2 bedrooms with this design plan, so it's a drastic
Oh, it
improvement.
does have an existing for
Yes.
2 bedrooms?
Yes.
Oh,
This
already gone
plan,
through
this
that.
plan was permitted for 2 bedrooms.
Is it a DEP on that one? They didn't really care, so, I mean, essentially
So
it's,
whatever he's saying is not
that's weird.
complete.
what,
So let's
what,
leave it at that, right?
where was the other permit? Is this just earlier this last year, or
That's
was this
correct.
20 years ago?
No, just, how long were we here?
This plan was permitted.
What I like to do
was
is
completed
explain,
and
this is
permitted.
my neighbor to my, if we're looking at it to the right, this lady lives right across the street, is anyone else, you're to the right? And the gentleman lived in there for a number of years with his 2 daughters, it was lived in as a 2-bedroom house for all that period of time. And what had been working for all those years, I can't tell you. But regardless, the previous system, I didn't like having a pump system out front, something else would go wrong. Using one of the chambers as a pump chamber, pouring it all the ways around back. It would give a 5-foot wall basically to my neighbor on one side and one to the other. This is lowering everything by 2 feet. We don't, it's
it's
just
a
a better
2-bedroom
system.
system.
Yeah, and it,
So
well,
it's moot anyway at this point.
yeah, I mean, what I'm doing is just asking to make it better for them to look at. And at some point in time, you may end up needing one of these systems. And that way, the 2 of them would be,
I
Can
wonder
join.
why he said it's a,
I'm not sure what he said that for.
This is down by the lake and they're old beach houses and they probably at one point had an open format. And so I think if I recall correctly, there was some conflicting records from town about whether to have 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom. Functionally, it had been operating as a 2-bedroom, the neighbors all said that. In this case, we have a 2-bedroom system. I think we had decided to call it a 2-bedroom system. Somebody actually complained to DEP. I went into DEP with Jim and explained it, and they were actually okay with it being a 2-bedroom. They didn't have an issue with that when I went there.
okay.
So it'd be a deed restricted 2-bedroom,
Right.
which I'm perfectly fine with.
But you
I'm
said
not
you,
asking for a 3.
What do the
You have a
assessors, Peter,
permit
what do
for
the
a 2
assessors
bedroom?
pad say? Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry?
you have a permit for a 2-bedroom system?
I have an approved 2-bedroom
So
system.
this
right here.
plan was permitted last
this
year
board.
as a
So-
2-bedroom.
Okay.
So the issue before with the previous system is a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom, you conflicting stuff. The
No, as long as they
floor
have an
plan really
approved
looked at,
permit, I mean, it's
but they
moot.
got a 2-bedroom system, so it's
Okay.
moot.
So alls I'm really doing, trying to do is put a better system in, lower it so it's less obtrusive. And again, I mean, it just makes sense. It's better for the neighbors, it's better for the neighborhood, it's better for the environment.
Peter,
Better
is
for me.
this a tear down, or is this gonna be a new house?
I'm more than likely gonna take it down because it's kinda scary.
No, I'm not, I'm just seeing that on the old drawing, it said for, proposed new
Yeah.
house.
So that's, and then again, I have to go to the Board of
You'd be-
Appeals
But
for,
you'd be limited to a 2-bedroom when you rebuild it, so
Correct.
as far as
Perfectly
we're
fine.
concerned, who cares?
I just
Right.
have one question. I didn't see it. Is this like the same footprint as before? Are we looking at the
I'm
same, issues for us as far as having it
oh,
come
yeah,
right
it
out
goes,
to the
it's
tree
still in,
line and
it's still
stuff?
in the back. And it actually takes up less space, I believe. On the back of it, you know how it was so high?
Yeah, yeah.
Now it's just gonna basically meet the height of the neighbor behind me, the next street over. I don't
Right.
even know what the name of the street is. And your side, will I end up with a wall over there?
Yeah, no, it's got walls down both sides, but we're able to illuminate the wall across the
But
back.
they're shorter,
Right.
right?
Yeah,
So
but
I think
it's
our
lower.
concern before, which was really digging down right next to those very
Right.
large trees.
Right.
So I think that would just be our main concern again.
Aren't you gonna take those trees down?
well, yeah,
We
you
just
asked-
wanted to wait until
Yeah.
everything
Which
was
is great.
confirmed.
Right, but you've agreed to take the trees down, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
whichever ones they pick, or it makes no
Yeah.
difference, you can tell me take them all of them, or take 2 of them, I don't, whatever works,
Yeah.
because they're on your property,
Yeah,
you know?
we just wanna wait till everything was done before
They actually
we
gained
go
about
forward.
4 or 5 feet since we did the surveying. Their yard is bigger.
They're not gonna put another house, are they?
They can move in if they want.
No, I'm saying, you got
Can
extra
have 4 or
5
5
feet.
feet?
You're not gonna build another house there, they?
We're
We got it.
talking with Trump about a tower, but it's not a house.
All right, all right. She got it, but he did.
Careful of wiretaps.
I'm a little slow, it's been a long night.
So you're asking for 2 variants?
Correct. Actually, we were able to eliminate quite a few of the previously requested variances, like the offset from the tank to the house, tank to the lot line. So we basically have it down to 2 variances. We're asking, actually, one's an approval from the Little Board of Health through Love for reduction in the groundwater offset from 4 feet to 2 feet with the use of the Presby. I just wanted to mention, the Presby provides 100% capacity on this site. Before, they had to ask for a 25%
That was it. It was a-
reduction
It
in
was
each area.
25% below the flow rate of what you would need if
Correct.
we were 2. That was the issue before, and this is gonna meet it, so it's better than what we approved before.
Oh, absolutely. It's better design.
And the second is we're asking for a variance from Littleton Borough Regulation 27 to allow fill to meet minimum breakout grading within 10 feet of a lot line.
Well, before I make a motion, is there anybody in the,
Anybody likes to say anything?
anybody got any questions?
Or you just like to take a little rest there, watching us working hard? I guess no questions.
How about him?
Oh, he's
She-
too old. He's taking a nap.
Stay out of local politics, kid.
Yeah, there you go.
So I entertain.
I'm going to make a motion that we approve the 2 variances. One is for the offset from 4 to 2 feet using the Presby system. And the variance for regulation 27 to allow fill to meet minimum breakout grading results, requirements within 10 feet of the property line. What is it gonna be instead of the
The wall's 1 foot off the lot line.
1 foot?
That'll all be staked by a registered land surveyor.
And there's some water issues down there too. Is there any kind of grading or anything that you'll do? Or you feel comfortable with it?
Well, I mean, the slope of the property goes from the rear towards the front, and it should run down the sides of the walls.
And I'll just add that this is for 17 Roxbury Drive, as shown on the blueprint of 2117.
Does it have a stamp on it?
Yeah.
I don't know about Peter. You put a stamp on that thing?
I mailed it to Trump.
You're picking on me now.
Is that it, Peter?
'Cause
I'll
you
second the motion.
And
You gotta catch up, Gino, you're 20
Yeah?
minutes behind
Okay,
now.
okay, 20 minutes, 22 minutes. All in favor?
I,
Okay, now get out.
Thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you
he's
very much.
still-
I'm not leaving
You're
yet.
still up, man.
It's your stuff, right?
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Newtown Road, 410.
Thinking. Dan's already got it here, so it's not like I can do anything.
Only one?
Only one.
I'll give it to Shirley, this, okay?
How's Richie's,
He's busy. Yeah, no, I think he's all collected right now.
So what happened before was he was going up to basically 55 gallon drum in the yard, and Jim was pushing for a functional 2-bedroom.
No, that's
Conflicting
okay.
town record saying it was a 2-bedroom that was 20% below the flow
all
rate.
right, well, let's get that.
Elderly people, it was above the flow rate, and we basically said, look, we're gonna give it. That's why Jim didn't like that.
deal, so it's like.
That's why Jim. All right, Gino, we gotta catch up here, man.
I'm ready.
It's the kid's bedtime, you can't complain, it's your fault.
It's not my fault if
And
I'm
you're gonna be
looking-
reelected in 2 months, you don't wanna pick the.
I'm looking at the kids, they're so nice and everything, so quiet.
That's
You
because it's still
complain
8
all the
o'clock,
time.
where, you wait till 8:30, they're gonna be
You
crying,
complaining.
Gino. So-
So
Okay,
again,
go ahead.
I'm Kirk Fitzpatrick with Civil Solutions, I'm here on behalf of 410 Newtown Road. This is Jamie Earhart. It's a recent-
Hey, guys, could you take it outside, please? Thank you.
Sorry?
I did open the meeting for that, okay?
Yep. This is Jamie Earhart, who recently purchased the property.
Nice kid.
It's actually right across the street from Peter's house.
Yeah, I have to make a disclaimer on that too, so. Daisy? Yeah.
So right now, there's an existing 3-bedroom dwelling shown here. The driveway that leads out to a barn towards the back, and also kind of a circular driveway. And then there's we call it an outbuilding over here in the corner of the property. The outbuilding currently has two tanks out behind it, two septic tanks. And it's my understanding that building was at some point used as a hair salon. So those are two watertight tanks. And they're not that old. They're post-95, and you can tell by the labels on the septic tanks. They didn't put plastic labels on tanks prior to 95. So right now, the system is composed of, there's a cesspool off to the side here with an overflow. So we actually went out and started out in the front here with some soils testing. One of these test holes was okay, but the other one had ledge closer to the surface than we'd like to see, so we went towards the back here and conducted 2 more test holes in between the barn and the outbuilding, which is test holes 3 and 4. We had a water table at 48 inches and 54 inches. It was actually pretty decent for this area. And we also ran a perk test in that area, which was 7 minutes an inch. We ran a perk test out in the front too, which was also 7 minutes an inch. So basically what we're proposing to do is come out to a new 2-compartment septic tank off the side of the house. That's going to flow by gravity out to a proposed Presby Enviro septic leach field, which we're asking for a reduction in the groundwater offset to use. In addition, they'd like to maintain the use of the outbuilding as a workshop with a toilet in it. Kevin and I took a look at both these tanks. The liquid capacity is right up at the operating level. They're not that old. And one of them would be able to feed
The other,
the new system
okay,
by gravity.
yeah.
So basically, it flows out of the building to this first one, and then by gravity to the second one. The second one's, that's probably 3 to 6 inches lower than the first one. The second one would not meet gravity flow to the leach field. So what we're proposing to do is reuse the first one. They'll pump out, crush, and break up and fill in the second one. And then they'll just connect that to the same distribution box that's gonna feed the leach field. So basically, we're asking for a reduction in the groundwater offset from 4 feet to 2 feet with the use of the Presby. One of the reasons we're requesting the offset here, it just allows the system to just stay in the ground. If we use the 3-foot offset, this barn has a lower level in it, has a poured slab under one side and a dirt floor on the other. The system would be elevated above the elevation of that slab, and you'd probably have to block in the lower portion of the barn. Otherwise, it would start to pond water right in front of the barn or actually in the barn.
So you're gonna go to 2 feet or 3 feet?
2 feet.
Jim wants him to go to 3.
To 3, yeah, I'm sorry, but it said, Jim wants to 3 feet.
I
We've run
understand
into
he
this
does.
with Jim before, so we just ran into, we
That's
just
why
talked
I
about it,
asked
yeah.
about the longevity of.
So we're asking for approval under 310 CMR 15.4518 to allow an existing septic tank, which would be the tank behind the outbuilding, to remain 4 feet from the property line rather than the requisite 10 feet. This plan was reviewed by a registered land surveyor. It's got a registered land surveyor stamp on it. And we're asking for approval to sought under 310 CMR 15.451B to allow an existing septic tank to remain 4 feet from a slab foundation rather than the 10 feet. So basically, the tank is 10 feet off the slab of the outbuilding.
Yep.
Yeah.
So does the existing
Well,
tank
we can
meet,
give him-
meet the current
think
regs?
It'll be okay.
Yes, it's actually a 1,500-gallon tank.
According to this.
It's not that old.
Oh, all right, and then,
Roof permit on that building was pulled in '06, I think, so we're guessing that that's when things were done to the building.
mhm.
That's just a guess.
So Jim, in his, I won't read it, he's cool with everything. He would like to keep the 3-foot offset, which I think is, we've dealt with this on a number of times. I appreciate Jim's perspective. I'm actually comfortable with it too, myself.
Yeah, I am too.
Well, first of all, I'm not in a butter, but I'm across the street from them. And there used to be relatives of mine that lived there, but I haven't been over to that house in probably 15 years. The question for me, what is this being sized for, a 3-bedroom?
3-bedroom.
And how many, is that in the room count, the other building?
No, it'd be just considered an outbuilding with just a toilet, no living space.
Okay, no living space.
We
So
actually,
the reason I asked is because I know that from way back, that those bedrooms are exceedingly small. And they probably don't even come up to what would you be required for a bedroom, you know,
Or the minimum height and so
yeah,
on.
minimum height.
there's.
So I don't seem
seven-
that,
The bedrooms are 7-foot ceiling, 'cause
Yeah.
the house is
7
older.
foot's the threshold to be
Um,
considered a room.
And then each room is like about 12 by 13.
but
So-
we're talking, the roof comes down and,
In one of them, yes.
Yeah.
But that would be for the kids anyway, right?
so what is Jim saying? He's only got one
Okay.
issue.
I said, you don't have a problem with the request for the use of old tank also. I believe granted 2 feet groundwater reduction should be reserved for those sites so restricted and nothing else work. A 3 feet offset will work for this site, but the grading might obscure the use of this lower level on the barn.
And you're also, you raised the concern there might also pool water, which might then flow into the lower level, right?
I think if we had to raise another foot, it would certainly pool water under the barn.
So,
And it would eliminate the use of the lower level of the
my
barn.
take on this is, yeah, 3 feet's better than 2 feet, but for the Presby, I'm pretty comfortable with this system rather, I'm pretty comfortable with the 2 feet.
We're neighbors.
You have any objection?
I have questions and
Go ahead.
possible objections.
Yeah.
So where these buildings are extremely close to our house. We are right beyond that
The
little
new
white
house,
building, and I do
the
have
new house.
photos from my window of how close everything is.
Excuse me, young
Sure.
lady, how close to your house? How many feet? Because as long as 10 feet, that
Um,
is not,
Are you the back?
we are Manchester Drive, so.
Yeah, so you're
So
that.
I can show you, for instance,
yeah,
So-
we,
I took some pictures before I left without even going outside my house of how close the back of that barn is. This is from the window of my house without zoom. Okay, so all of this is going to be visible
yeah,
from the back of my
Yeah.
dining room, my kids'
yeah.
bedrooms.
The reason I'm saying that, as long as 10 feet away from it, you have no problem.
Well, I don't know, has anybody measured
have to
my side
measure
of the
it. You have to
property?
Well, the question,
And I have
question
a
was,
question about the vent pipes as well and the position
Okay.
of those.
on the,
He
on
might
the
be able to answer
tanks, you're gonna wreck one of those tight tanks, right?
Correct.
So
Tight tank.
then, how far is the other tank from the property line?
4 feet.
4 feet. And, but the field itself is quite a ways from the
Field itself's 15 feet.
15 feet.
Okay, so this what I was asking, see how far, usually it's 10 feet, but seems like they want a variance for the 4 feet. Is
Right.
that what you want?
Can you
A variance
mention,
for-
where's the vent pipe gonna be? That seems to be a
Yes,
concern
that-
as well.
that's
So
gonna
the,
be-
the 2 vent pipes are gonna be attached to the corner of the barn and run up the corner board of the barn.
So basically visible to my house, and it's 10 feet? And the
No,
direction
well,
of the opening?
The barn's about 40 feet off the lot line.
No, I don't, well,
It is.
Well, from your picture, I was guessing 35, so I don't know.
yeah, but that's still like, not an attractive feature, where there's a lot of other space. Can it not go a little bit closer up the side of the barn or be disguised in some other way?
So just for background, we're here for the efficacy of the system, not necessarily the
Right.
aesthetics. So, I mean, you can
Right.
mention to these guys, but we can't really rule on,
Right, but I mean, what about the positioning of the opening of the hole, if it faces the direction of my house or their house?
That is
I mean,
something
it's
only-
basically, the
that
vent
is
pipe's gonna get attached to the corner board, and it's gonna be up, the lower one's gonna be up 3 feet, and the other one's gonna be up 13 feet, so. I mean, I don't think you'll even notice them on the side of the barn.
Well, if you're not walking back there, but
Say in the
that's.
big barn or the
that's
outbuilding?
view
The
of my
big
house.
barn.
The big barn.
So they
I
won't be
mean, it's a
able to see it.
2-story, so it's gonna be at least 16 feet to the,
was it 4-inch PVC or 6-inch
it'd be
PVC?
4-inch PVC. You can paint them whatever color you want.
It says on black on here.
the trim of the barn is already white, so that would hopefully blend in.
I mean, it's kind of a necessity of a system to have a vent pipe. There's very little way around that, and it
From
seems
the
like
old
putting
ones,
against
They
the,
used to just have a little loop coming out. I mean,
Right,
this is a
right.
good system.
this
It
is-
gets it above and
Right.
yeah.
takes
I mean,
over
I've seen
some.
them, my neighbor put one up, it comes up the middle of their yard versus the barn, or my old house anyway.
Right, well, I mean,
This
we
is-
didn't
seems
hear barn,
preferable.
this said about trees, and there aren't that many, so that's why I was concerned, because there's only, I think most of the trees are probably ours, except for like 2 that are floating in the middle of a yard.
Is there anything you can do to help out?
I
Or at
mean,
least
the
kind of
vent
a tree or
pipe's open to,
something.
Show us.
she can really put the vent pipe where she wants. It doesn't have to go on the barn. We were trying to put it in the most inconspicuous spot we
We'd love to
could.
have it on the barn, we don't want it
Well, that's
just
what I mean,
in
like,
the middle
it'd be
of
great
it,
to
where
see
people
that.
can see it, yeah.
I-
So
I-
you chose the barn because it's the least
Well,
conspicuous
I
spot,
didn't
right?
choose it.
I picked the
but
barn.
they
You picked the barn.
chose it, so.
I mean, the trim on the barn is white, so if you run a white PVC pipe,
Can you put it
Is there any way you can cover it so they won't see it? There is a way you can do it,
I
right?
mean, a white PVC on a white piece of corner board, I don't think it's really gonna stand out.
It's got a vent, so it has to be functional.
Yeah, I
No,
mean,
no, I know, I don't
the
mean,
aesthetics really isn't our thing. I mean,
I know,
but
I know.
you basically
I'm
know that
saying-
your neighbor would like you to
I'm
keep it as
using it to make
inconspicuous
the
as
neighbors
possible.
happy.
If you could work it out with them,
We would love that too, so.
as long as it's got a vent pipe, I'm cool with it.
Where
However you
else
guys
would
can work out between you, I'm
Where
fine.
else would you put it, though, to get it up to that height?
Right.
You don't want it in front of the house, from the outbuilding.
It'll be taller
What
than
would you
the,
suggest?
To the outbuilding, so going to the barn, if the septic tank's back there, and I don't know what I'm speaking about, but if you go to the front left corner, that work, the outbuilding, that's not gonna be occupied other than the workshop. It's not visible to us, it's not visible
But
to the
you
family.
don't have the height there, though.
Yeah, you don't.
The height on the barn that you're getting up 32 feet, 36, I don't know. Whereas that
Second floor,
outbuilding,
right?
it's probably
I
only
mean,
12.
it's a two-story barn, so you're at least 16 feet on the corner board itself. You won't be above the corner, above the roof line on the corner board.
And you're
It'll
saying-
definitely be above the roof line on the outbuilding.
And is this only, I just wanna make sure I understand, is all of this only because there needs to be a working toilet in that room, or is that sustaining the whole entire property?
The
All
vent
this?
pipe is required.
No, I meant just this whole system in general, is that really to service this building? or
No,
is it
no,
service the
this,
whole
this
entire-
services the house.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
There's a lot of ledge there, so I don't think there was many places that you could
No, that's the
put
best
that.
spot for it.
Yeah. That's, you know,
And it just has
we
the old
end up-
cesspools right now, it doesn't have any septic.
any house, especially a built house, you gotta try to, you know, give it an adequate system. You're never gonna say, oh, you can't put anything in, your house is useless. You know, so the engineers strive to try to get the septic system in the best spot and best functioning, so.
Is it 4-inch pipe? 4-inch?
The vent pipe is 4-inch.
It's not the big hook candy canes that we see.
Yeah,
in lawns.
that's what we were talking
Yeah,
about
yeah.
initially.
You can wrap it at Christmas, though.
So this is and Jim, I think what did he have to say here?
He was okay with everything except the 2-foot setback.
He said he
wants
doesn't
3.
have any problem with it, you know, for the old tank and so forth, and then he said from,
Oh, he doesn't
2
like the
feet
2
to
feet
3
offset.
Right, but he
He
said,
generally doesn't, so,
Yeah.
which
See,
I,
John-
again, I appreciate, but disagree.
it says a 3 feet offset would work for this particular side, but the grounding might obscure the usual depth of the pond. So he was concerned, just like you are, but,
Well, he had a different concern.
Yeah,
No, no, I-
totally opposite.
yeah, what I'm saying is.
He was less
Okay.
concerned about the aesthetics and
We
more
got
about
I
the
three
understand.
variances.
But we're trying to make him everybody happy, but he can't
You
make
know,
everybody
Can't
happy.
make everybody happy, Jim.
Because the lady, for one thing, she told us that we don't deserve to be reelected.
I'm not running, so I don't care.
No, I know, you're lucky.
Well, let's get,
Let's
you're gonna
finish this
make a
one up, Tina.
motion?
Go ahead,
let's
Peter.
You look like you're getting ready to make a
Sorry,
motion.
Entertain a
Jesus,
motion.
Trinity Joseph.
Peter's
All
gonna
right.
fall asleep before the kids do, so.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the 3 variances for 410 Newtown Road, as shown on the plan of 1/4/17. The variants are the offset from 4 feet to 2 feet. The approval sought under 310 CMR 15405 to allow septic tank 4 feet from a property line rather than the requisite 10 feet. And that's the one you guys are kind of concerned about, that side building. Approval is sought under 310 CMR 15.405 to allow the septic tank 4 feet from a slab foundation rather than the requisite 10 feet. And again, that's the same area, and those are the 3 variances.
Okay, ain't it, okay, all done? Thank
All
you.
done.
I'll second it.
Ain't it, you should have waited until I tell you. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. You're already behind, Gina. I'm trying
Bye.
to help you out here, man. Thank you, good luck.
47 Taylor Street. Closed, I'm opening for that 47 Taylor
You wanna
Street.
do this before I ruin it?
That's right.
You wanna leave one to Charlie? You wanna leave one for this?
You should have several copies.
Okay, thank you.
How's that house working out for you? Good?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
Yeah, Daisy comes to visit sometimes.
yeah, I don't see it as much.
Hey, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
You have a good day.
Last time Nathaniel touched
Many kids? Three kids.
What's on the,
47.
47 Taylor Street.
where is that?
Taylor Street, you know what it is.
That's not, Vertices.
Wickham. Just past Wickham Ave. You go down a little bit further, there's big wetland, and then first house after the wetland.
Oh, they're the
Oh, the-
first house after the wetland?
Oh, I know those guys, okay. That's a nice house, they put a lot of work in. It's got the solar panels on the roof, right? Gray house?
It is great.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's the one. His mother-in-law ran for Board of Health 3 years ago.
Who's that?
Woman who ran against me and Gina.
Oh, yeah,
She was a
that's-
nurse.
that's
Anyway,
right,
go ahead,
that's
let's
right,
go.
yeah,
Oh, I know who you
And I'm
mean.
Greg Fitzpatrick,
Yeah,
Civil
yeah,
Solutions, Mayor of Article 47 Taylor Street. Arana Dahl and James Parkovich. And basically, this is a proposed repair for the existing three-bedroom dwelling. Right now, they have a large cesspool in the backyard. There's a wetland, this is kind of a long, narrow lot. The wetland kind of runs right along Taylor Street, and then it runs away for this last little corner, and that's the only dry land on the property.
It's right on that
Don't
Beaver
you have-
Creek wetland, right?
Yeah.
Is that in the zone too?
Yeah, we got what he's talking about, but I like to
Because the well, town well's on the other side of the road,
Yeah, no, must be.
Yeah, looking into it.
So given the limit area on the site to put a new system, we're proposing to put the system up in the side yard between the existing house, number 47, and the neighboring house, number 51. And because it is so tight, we're proposing to use some advanced treatment here with the Jet J500, which is basically a little package treatment plant. What that allows us to do is reduce the size of the leach field by 50%.
What does it
Did you
do?
find it?
It's all,
So it's basically got an aerator in it. It's broken into three
You want the other one?
compartments. The first compartment acts as a septic tank.
I give it to you.
The second compartment's got media
See if you
in
can
it
find
with a
something.
blower, so it actually draws air down in, it kind of bubbles and look at through the media.
This is
the
Richard.
bacteria thrive. And then the third compartment is basically
So,
another little settling chamber. This usually get any heavy bacteria growth falls out and slides down this angled wall.
Got a
That's
sign.
on the bottom here.
Sounds expensive.
We gotta sign
It-
this.
It is.
Steve.
They add about $7,000 to the cost of the
If you
system.
approve?
If you signed off,
Yes.
we can go.
It's good.
But, I mean, the
I mean, you don't
liquid
have
that
a
comes
choice
out
here.
of that,
Yeah.
Tight tank of this,
Is
right?
this right?
the liquid that comes out of that is extremely clean. It requires operation and maintenance and an annual testing. It's kind of a last
How is that
resort.
enforced?
Yeah, I was
The
gonna ask the same thing.
operational maintenance?
Before they'll deliver the tank, they have to sign the operation and maintenance contract, and that gets them 2 years.
And then after that?
They're supposed to do it.
So we don't have an enforcement
Or it
mechanism at the time.
smells.
Well,
We have quite a few of them out there. I've never heard of anybody having a problem with one.
Yeah, if you're blowing this stuff through.
what's the maintenance
It actually
cost?
draws it in.
What's the maintenance cost?
I think that it's $800 for the first 2 years.
That's not
That's
bad.
not too bad.
Okay.
Noisy? What do you
No,
think?
well, actually, this one of the reasons we picked this one is because it's all self-contained, the blower's in the top of the unit, rather than like the Microfast has an external blower. It has like a little, green box, and unfortunately, contractors always set them right outside somebody's window. And they sound like a fan running 24/7.
Oh,
So this is all in the ground.
Okay.
The blower actually sits, right in the top of the tank. We do add,
I've seen
the
one of these.
manufacturer casts a little intake vent pipe into the top cover, but it's really small, and my guess is during a heavy snowstorm in New England, it probably doesn't breathe too well. So Kevin and I expect to have an external vent, just to make sure it's always breathing. But it actually draws in instead of
In a
out.
regular septic system, it's mostly anaerobic degradation though, isn't it? I mean, this would be aerobic, but it works anyway.
Yeah.
You just shift it.
you say the tight tank you have to replace every couple of years? You gotta
No.
No,
clean it.
this isn't a tight tank. It's a whole new system. We haven't seen many of these, do you know?
All right,
I haven't anyway.
all right.
It's basically got an aeration
jet?
system built into it.
jet system or something?
Yeah, the Jet
Oh, you
J500.
got a poly barrier too.
Yeah. So we're proposing to come out where it comes out the back now in this lower level, and that's gonna flow into the jet, and it's gonna flow by gravity to a 1,000-gallon pump chamber. That's gonna pump the liquid up into the side yard into a 38-foot long by 6-foot wide leach field that's gonna be pressure dosed. So that system, instead of a gravity leach field with the 4-inch pipes with the larger holes in it, I think they're 1.5-inch pipes. They have to hand drill ahead of time all the holes in the pipe. So when the pump kicks on, it pressurizes the entire lateral system of the field, so
See it from here.
liquid goes throughout the entire field at the same time.
And then you've got a poly barrier around the leach field
Yeah, 5
Around
feet
it.
off, just because
area?
we can't there's no place on the property to put a system that's gonna be anywhere near close to the regulations
on
of
the
20
banks
feet
of
off
the
a
wetland.
foundation.
Yeah, yeah, I know
So
where it is.
we're kind of balancing, we're 10 feet between each of the two houses. So that's why it has a polyliner. The only end that doesn't have a polyliner is towards the street where it meets the breakout grading requirement.
So what variance are you looking for?
What's Jim's, I didn't have Jim's thing here, I don't know what it
He's,
is.
he's
Actually,
basically,
he doesn't give
Doesn't-
an opinion, he just describes it.
Right,
basically said the only other option is a tight tank,
right.
so.
That's why I mentioned.
There was one I had read earlier, one, thing, he said he was looking for input from us.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is this the one? or-
No, this one says, the proposal represents the best possible replacement system, sort of a site tank, as the sewage will be treated before it's discharged. The applicant will be required to have an operation and management contract with the system. There will be a poly barrier around the leaching area to minimize migration of the sewage to the foundations. We had asked about the managing contract, and basically they won't put it in without a 2-year contract. After that, we don't have an enforcement mechanism, but
So he doesn't have any problems with?
No,
he
no, none.
basically says it's the best option.
Peter, I think what you're talking about,
Sandy
63
soil,
Foster
too.
Street, maybe.
It is all sand and gravel there, which is the saving
could
grace.
be.
And it's not a water
Does he say
table.
on the bottom? I
I
didn't
think
know
what-
if I
There's a
missed
water table where it gets
He
down to the
said-
wetlands.
Please
But
let
because
me
the
know
side yard is so
how you would like
elevated,
to handle this
it
situation.
works well there.
That's
We-
Foster
We're
Street.
not gonna make no decision. I have to wait until Shirley. Okay?
So since Peter disclosed being neighbors, 3 houses downstream, I have a rental property, so I don't think it precludes me, but I'll, full disclosure.
Okay,
And Gino?
right. Entertain a motion?
No,
Already
we gotta-
done?
wait, we've got-
You want me to read them?
Yeah, read it.
No,
read
I can do it off of that, or what do you guys? I got this one here too, I just wanted to look at the.
it.
Alright.
This one here. I have to
Why are
wait
you
till
only
Shelley.
coming in with one? Lois?
All right,
Huh?
all right,
Okay.
I would like
So we
to,
can make a decision on this one.
so I'd like to propose, I'd like to make a motion, for 47 Taylor Street, and a plan dated 2/7/17.
That's 47 Taylor.
Yep, 47 Taylor, and looking for 3 variances, proposing the approval of 3 variances for 310 CMR 155041A to reduce offset of the leaching area to property line from 10 to 5 feet. 301 CMR 154051B to reduce offset of leaching area from foundation wall from 20 to 10 feet. And then finally, 15541E to reduce that offset from a septic tank to a wetland from 25 to 19.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I
Aye.
see you had the survey too, but you say you send them, these into the office? And
Actually, what Shelley's been having us do is send them in by PDF, and I thought they got your packet that way. If you prefer
Well,
to
the
send in
problem,
full-size copies,
the
you have
problem
to.
with that is you get them, they're this big. My eyes aren't that great, and you're like,
I'm happy to send in a couple full-size copies of the variance letter. I
yeah,
don't mind
it
at all.
would be kinda nice to follow along and
Okay.
see what you're
We
doing.
can do that.
Seeing that you're doing all the, design work now for the town of Littleton.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
So we're skipping to Hadawan, right?
Okay.
Yes.
Is that one of yours too?
Yes.
It's continued, I guess. Something must have
I
come up.
looked for that on Google Earth for like 20 minutes.
What's that?
So we stopped.
All right. I'm slipping, Gino. You're half hour.
I'm,
behind. Whole
okay.
half hour.
Okay.
Thank you. Good
Take it
night.
easy, bye.
See you, Kurt.
Okay, I'm closing, opening up for 237 Island Road,
I think
which
that-
he already said it.
that's
huh?
continued, so you're gonna 7 Balsam,
Okay,
Gino.
and, we'll open it for 63 Foster Street.
Oh, that's the first.
It's not on our agenda. The only thing left on our agenda is 7
7
Balsam
Balsam,
Road.
which is you guys, right? That was-
Yeah,
This
I
is-
don't, I don't know, I don't know why that's there, but
No,
that's
no.
not on our agenda.
We'll do that, we'll do that at the end, Gino,
Yeah.
okay? These gentlemen are here, they're on the agenda, let's
All right.
let them go home.
Good evening, for the record, Brian Vidger with Hancock Associates, along with Dave Guthrie with Urban Farm Builders. We were back before you in December seeking a variance to use a over 30-minute perk on 7 Balsam Road, otherwise known as Lot 8. That variance was granted. Since then, the house foundation's in the ground and it's currently being finished, and it has come to our attention that given the room count of the 4-bedroom house, the prospective buyer wanted to finish the basement, and finishing of the basement would trigger a 10th room, essentially, which would classify this house under Mr. Graffy's interpretation of Title V as a 5-bedroom home. It's important to note, it is only a 4-bedroom home. The basement that's being finished is a playroom, essentially. And what we've done is we have had a discussion with Mr. Graffy to figure out what we could do to kind of solve this situation. And we've done 2 things. We completely redesigned the system from a 4-bedroom to a 5-bedroom system and submitted fully engineered plans. Jim has not reviewed them in its entirety. to our knowledge to date. And I believe that the board is in receipt of comments from Mr. Greffy relating to that fact. Should we not go forward with the 5-bedroom design, we would be seeking a deed restriction on the lot to a 4-bedroom. We put both options out here, fully engineered plans and a request for a deed restriction, and to have the discussion of how we would like to deal with this on this specific lot and potentially on other lots going forward.
So Jim's comments, the pertinent part of the applicant is trying to address the finished basement by increasing the system size to 5 bedrooms, which would make an already tight lot tighter, and I can't recommend granting the variance to allow for a larger system on this lot. The other way to address this situation is allow the applicant to record a deed restriction on the property, which would restrict the house to a 4-bedroom dwelling and allow a finished basement. If you're inclined to allow finished basements, this may be a better option. I'm sure this won't be the last request. If you do decide on a deed restriction, you may want to establish guidance so that the developer knows what would be acceptable to the board on finished space. And I think it's very much similar to your friend Chandra who came in here. I mean, these houses, no offense, they're similar designs I've seen all over the country. Many people are going to want a finished basement. They're meant for larger families. I'm comfortable with a deed restriction on this because frankly, I think if we don't allow this somehow, you guys may not deal with it, but somebody's gonna pull the shades and is gonna be doing some fly-by-night renovations in the basement, and I'm more concerned frankly about plumbing and electrical violations than I am about the septic. So I would advocate for a deed restriction on a 4-bedroom house myself.
Historically, how have we looked at finished basements? Are they considered a bedroom?
Depends on, they could be a bedroom. Again, when you go by bedrooms or room count, and if, like in this particular case, their room count is 9, 4 bedrooms. Nine, you're 9, so one more room would put them in basically in a 5 bedroom system. But they're not gonna.
Even if it's only 4 bedrooms? Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That's its room
Well,
count, but-
DP, what do? They cut it in half and go up, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Divide by 2 round down.
No, round down.
Round down,
So it's
so.
really-
Littleton used to round up.
It's really the room count rather than the number of bedrooms.
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
driving it.
way to drive,
So it doesn't
worst
make
case
any-
scenario, it can be so many bedrooms is
It
how they look
doesn't
at
make
it.
any difference if you define the basement as a bedroom or not.
But,
'cause
you
it's a
know,
room
just
count.
to show you, we had houses on Russell Street that were probably 1,200 square feet. And they would put a room in the cellar, you know, finished for a family room or something like that. Whereas then you go up to Surrey Road, and you got houses that are probably 3,000 to 4,000 square feet with these huge basements with just one room and a 2. So we tend to like to go with a deed restriction. So that, and again, it has to be certain things like that it wouldn't be a bedroom, like, no privacy, size, you know, that type of stuff. Privacy, I should say, not.
But this is really based on the number of rooms, because it doesn't make any difference if we consider it a bedroom or not, because you exceed the number of rooms.
No,
Is
it
that-
could, bedroom would blow them into a.
They'd be into a 5-bedroom system if we went by the room count issue.
Right, that's what
Right, but DP doesn't require us to do that, we have some flexibility now. In the old days, we didn't necessarily have that, but
Right.
now we have some flexibility. So I think what Peter's saying is, you know, we put a deed restriction, some of the consideration, I did one in the old days before, when they just did the bedroom count. I mean, I had a stairway coming down into the room, and they still called it a bedroom. They've allowed some flexibility in that, where if there's no privacy, I mean, and that sort of thing, we have some, with the addition of a deed restriction, we have some flexibility in deciding whether that would really likely be used a bedroom.
So I just want to make sure that the way we're applying it here is consistent with the way we've applied it in the past.
To the extent we've been allowed by the state, I think it is.
Yeah, I think what we've tried to do is go the route of the deed restriction, when putting a larger system doesn't.
So we haven't said, somebody hasn't come in and we said, no, you can't finish your basement because.
We've done that when they were already over their room, it was, you know, we had somebody that had a 4-bedroom and they had an illegal room over the garage and they wanted to finish their basement, we said no.
Okay.
That's the only time we've done that.
All right.
You know, and part of my rationale for being somewhat flexible is, okay, these guys don't finish the basement, somebody else is gonna come in and do it, you know, from Home Depot and,
Plus,
Yeah, that's not our
this-
purview.
this
I disagree.
particular case, you guys use
Really?
the
Yeah.
open,
You
concept
have
right on
electrical?
the first floor.
No, but it's a
You
bigger
don't
risk.
have
and
like
we
a
don't
dining room.
I-
consider the
They do
downside
everything
risk
through
of our actions.
What
I
our,
think
what
we
our
were foolish
layman's
not to.
definition of a
Well, they
room
do
is they're
everything
not
right.
8 or
Yeah, I
9
have no
rooms,
problem.
but DEP allows to say if your kitchen and your family room are adjacent to each other but all open, those are considered 2 separate rooms.
Right.
So it's,
Well,
you know,
it's
it is-
functionality, that's what. they're
Yeah.
looking at.
They go by
So-
functional.
And what separates really us needing the deed restriction versus not needing in these houses is probably half our, design types have a first floor study, and that puts us at 9 rooms. They're all
Oh,
4
okay.
bedrooms up, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Right.
You get that study on the first floor and
How
not
big
get
is the study though? So some places,
Pretty
you know,
good
you got a
size, right?
big, your big, entryway, you know, could be where you got hang coats and all that stuff.
No, they
A lot
usually
of
have,
towns don't count them.
a lot of them have a side room off the
Yeah.
main
Yeah, they're
colonial.
the
You get
foyer,
a,
you know, a lot of
yeah,
people work from home, so they're
right.
drawing.
So that's a new thing now.
Yeah, those houses were allowed to finish the basement without a discussion, I'm sorry, the ones without the study, we can finish the basement and still be in that 4
Right.
definition. If it has a study, then we're into that 5 definition, so I think, you know, to your point, and I expressed that to Jim, if there's not a mechanism for us to do these illegally, we're going to leave, we're not obviously gonna risk our license by building illegal basements, but they get built, and that's what I said to him, it's, you might as well capture this somehow, you know, 'cause that was kind of our position, but, I respect his as well.
Well, you've got a variance for the perk test, right?
We do, correct.
So that's what my concern was, that there's already that variance in there, and then you're adding another one on top of it that puts more
It's
pressure
not a
on.
variance,
It's not?
deed restriction.
Well, no, they were
No, no.
requesting a
You
variance,
had,
so they,
originally, there was a variance on here for the they already have a variance for the perk test on their permit.
Okay, what was, just one variance?
Yeah, and we've given out multiple variances, and if they were related, I might see it, but I don't see these as being
Well,
horribly
it
related.
puts more pressure on the system and on the,
Well,
what we're trying to protect.
Well, if we were
That's-
gonna have bedrooms, I would agree,
The
but
issue here too is their cluster, aren't you, cluster?
We're
Right.
an open space development, so
So consequently, they don't have as much land to put the
Right.
system on, so that it,
so instead of a
you
bunch
know,
of
a big
5-acre
system.
lots, they're on, how big are your lots?
25,000.
And how much open space is there if it's,
There's the equivalency of the remainder of the acre plus in open space.
Exactly.
It's just a desire.
But the,
plan
but the rest of
to
the,
cluster it.
the land that could be developed, you've got, what, 20 acres or something? You've got trails and things like that.
Yeah.
Part of it is because we push towards this cluster development, it pushes these guys on smaller lots. The concept is that there's some public benefit of having, you've got trails that connects to other
Yeah.
trails as open space. From my perspective, that also means when we get to things like septic, we need to be more flexible than we might otherwise.
that's right.
okay.
So we're gonna push them onto tiny
Right,
lots,
no,
we've gotta
I wasn't
recognize
aware
that.
No, it's
that,
fine.
So he
But
just,
I think to Brad's point, if you overlook the entire parcel, you're not stressing the land because you're not doubling down on your density.
yeah, I
Right.
see.
Yeah.
How big would this, this basement room be?
I believe they want 500 square feet.
That's all? Wow. Because you could do more, I assume, right?
Oh,
That's,
of course,
you
yeah.
got a bowling alley down there from.
Yeah, yeah. There are a couple without any children, and I think they work from home, quite honestly. And it has a walkout, so they're looking to take advantage of the light.
So, and Jim did make a good point, I think we ought to make it clear to these guys, and we ought to set as policy, if we allow this, I assume you've got how many houses in this development?
30.
You're probably gonna have others looking to do the same thing, you have to come back first, but we should give guidance now, I think that this is what
Should
we'll be
come back
looking
for
for.
each one.
What's the percentage of built versus open space on the total parcel that you've got there?
of lots per open space, I think it's a third has been reserved in open space of the
So-
entire development.
What's the total acreage?
45.
45,
And a third is open
a
space?
third is open, so you're looking at.
It's either 16 or 17 acres.
16 acres.
Impervious, like not paved or anything?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly,
just
and
open
it
space?
remains in its virgin state and deeded to the town.
And that's a deed?
Conveyed to the town.
Oh, it's conveyed to the town?
Yeah, one for unrestricted, and the other half is conservation.
All right.
So make a motion
Well, I
that,
think wait, are you in a butter? No? Oh, okay.
No, she's just
Cable went out, right?
entertaining it, so,
Just came in, nothing to do on Tuesday night.
nothing to do. She came to see us,
Okay.
because we are a good group. All right, you say you'd like to make a motion?
I make a motion that we grant the, basement to be finished,
Properly.
Was it,
see address here, let me see. I have it.
7 Balsam.
Seven,
On 7 Balsam with a deed restriction.
yeah.
limiting it to a 4-bedroom?
Thank you.
With Gino's permission, I will second the motion.
Yeah, it's right there.
Have you? I was done.
Yeah, I know, that's it.
Oh.
Gino, with
I
your
thi-
permission, I will second the motion.
Oh, thank you, sir, I appreciate it. I thought he was, I was trying to give him some
No,
document. Only
Some
in favor?
documentation.
I,
Aye. Would you please
Now, have you
get out of
folks
here
gone
so
through
quick, we gotta go
Have you gone
someplace.
through the deed restriction process before?
Yeah, that's kinda how we got caught in this position with Jim and didn't come in preparation of this, because we deed restricted in every town we're in, really.
Yeah.
That's a very common practice.
So, you know, Shelley would help you anyways.
Yeah, we have the
So-
forms and we register, we stick them with the registry. So basically, the houses that we are currently selling have 4 bedrooms up and either 5 rooms on the first floor or 4. The 4s don't need to come back. The 5s will be in this deed restriction process.
So-
Do you want us to come back for each of those, or is that an?
Yeah,
You'd have to
I think you
go
have to,
each
but
one.
You have to
it should be
come.
quicker.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. Happy to do that.
Otherwise, you're gonna have problems.
Yeah, yeah.
Come
no,
back, thank you,
Come back, okay.
and not, don't charge him too much money, huh?
Oh, thank you.
You look older than the first time
Now,
you came
get out of
in
here, both of you.
That's the
Good luck.
baby. Yeah, baby, right?
Yeah.
Take it easy.
good for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right,
Well, you got minutes, we didn't do minutes,
No.
did we?
but, can you find it?
Oh, I end up with
Is
such
that
a
Shelley?
mess, I can't
What?
find shit at the end of the night.
No.
No, that's not Shelley.
I didn't see no minutes.
Shelley be yelling at Gino by now for being so late.
Yep.
Oh, did I see the minutes? No, I
I-
don't know if I.
Did you have anything?
Yeah, I
you
did.
just-
My name is Lisa Flanagan, I put my.
Oh, okay.
No problem,
Oh, you're Lisa Flanagan.
Yeah. that's okay.
So she'll be withdrawing your application.
Yeah,
of-
this-
I have. There's a lot to learn, that's for sure.
I don't see it.
Vocabulary.
Yeah,
You got it?
I don't think, I wasn't here for this.
Meeting minutes.
I wasn't here for this one either.
February 14th, that's the last time.
Okay.
Yeah, my wife would've
everybody
killed me
read
on
it?
that
I
one.
did, okay. Little Borough Health meeting minutes, okay, February 14, wow, mamma mia, we are really backwards, huh? All right, let me see if I can read this quick, okay. Wait a minute. January minutes, and we are to February. Yeah, you didn't show
I
up.
wasn't here.
January
February
12.
14th, Gina, I owe more to my wife on that date than I do
July
you, sorry.
26, John, motion
Oh,
to
you found a
accept.
good one.
August 23, Davis made
You only need
motion to
3.
accept.
Oh, no, we-
Seconded by Mr.
Oh,
Young.
they don't have to sign
January,
it.
Dally made motion to accept, second one.
See,
Second with it. Davis, approval? You know, you have to say,
Oh, these are ones that didn't get variances, right?
I think you only need 3 signatures, so, but.
Did you make a sign?
Peter signed down here.
But for 2-bedroom systems.
That's not right, is it?
For 5 feet.
That's the acceptance line. Is that what you were supposed to say?
Let Shelley do it.
Two, to make a more conforming addition.
You're on Oak Grove, right? Pine? Oh. We have fields or so, it's something on Oak Road. It's
Yeah,
last-
there's one or two houses going on down there.
Yeah. I like to ride around, there's houses everywhere, that's probably up.
A good place to ask what I can do with my little candy cane pipe
Oh, yeah.
in my front yard.
Well, we had a woman that was going bonkers about that up on Harvard Road. She was threatening lawsuits and
What, the vent pipe?
Hers, or is it somebody else's, or?
Should I show
that was her neighbors.
TV?
No, I think we're still on the record, Gino's still mumble.
There's a new system, the whole system failed, they put a new system in, that was part of the system, and she didn't like it, and,
The candy cane?
yeah,
You know, my neighbor put one in, yeah, I wouldn't like it, but what are they supposed to do? They need one,
I know it.
you know?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'd rather they weren't there at all too, but you know, at some point you gotta draw the line as what's reasonable.
I only have one. There's another guy on Fletcher, the corner of Fletcher and Goldsmith, that has two.
I've got two, but they're way back, nobody sees them except for the fire station.
We just pump ours out into the brook down a long way.
And you have that on record too.
Yeah, I know it.
Better watch it, Peter, it might remove you from the Board of Health.
Oh,
Don't do them any favors.
don't do that.
I still say, Christmas time, you wrap it in red tape and make the most of it.
Yep. Put lights on it.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything that needed to be changed,
Do you see anything?
no.
She probably finds something. She wrote a book.
It's okay, Gino, we don't have any
Under
place to
the
go.
old Board of Health, they used to meet regularly, go to 11 or 12 o'clock every night.
They never had a.
The old one? Now you
Way
guys-
back.
Oh,
That's when we have more town regs, right?
That's when they had everything that was in Title V, they doubled it.
Oh, yeah.
So that everything you did was a fight.
Peter Casaneri was there,
Yeah,
remember?
Peter and
is it somebody taking, does somebody take your minutes?
normally
No.
Shelley's here.
She's
Okay.
she's.
She can watch them on television and
She
do it.
can watch, it's all recorded now.
But she
so they
promised she
can-
was coming tonight.
It
Okay.
helps to have her there because one of the issues is we don't have access, we should have, I should get a key, Gino, you should get a key.
I
They
was-
won't let you have one anymore.
They won't let us, no,
into
because
the
in the
building.
past, they were
No,
taking.
because we had a
in
Board of
the
Health
past.
member who shall remain nameless.
Nameless, right.
Who was poking around at like 10 o'clock at night one time.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know that, I know who that was.
Yeah, we
too.
all
It
know who
wasn't
that
me.
was, but
I'm in bed at 10 o'clock at night.
Me too. I'll probably fall asleep if I stay here until 10 o'clock. It'll be
you
like
keep
that.
reading like that, you're gonna put me to sleep. Hurry up.
Come on, I'm done.
The regs at 10 at night.
Okay, did you read any?
No,
You
I-
find
I
anything?
read the regs every night.
Oh,
Did you, now we're talking about the
I'm only
minutes.
kidding.
I should be.
Just in help.
John, make a motion.
I motion to approve the minutes as
February
written
14th.
from February 14th, 2017 Board of
Okay.
Health meetings.
Second.
All in favor?
I,
Aye.
All right.
I'll abstain, I wasn't here.
You want me to?
I make a motion.
Yes.
Hold on.
We all set?
What-
No,
We
one
haven't
last
adjourned
thing.
yet, one.
I'd like to
one
make
rush.
a motion
1 second.
to nominate, where's her name? Phyllis Tower as the Inspector of Animals
Oh, yeah.
for the town of Littleton.
Second that motion.
Well, first you have to entertain the motion, you gotta make a motion. You made a motion, you second it?
I didn't
All in
listen.
favor? You don't know this lady?
could you say it again?
So
Phyllis
making a motion to nominate Phyllis Tower as the Inspector of Animals
She used to
for
be-
the town of Littleton
She's
for an appointment that runs 1 year beginning May 1st,
Is this for the Department of Ag Resources?
MDR.
Yeah, so all that does is basically, because I used to have that position, Mike Cahill. Essentially, there's an annual census of livestock in town.
Right.
And the Inspector of Animals is
Oh,
basically
right, I
charged with the
realize.
state of doing this census.
Okay.
They've
But
also put some
to
stuff,
check, like, make sure the animals are well.
there's
Taken
one line
care
in
of.
there that does that. But their statutory authority is just to do this. So that's all that
Yep,
does.
I remember
Alright.
that, yes.
Thank you.
The animal inspector
What
works
do you need
for
from
us,
me,
but
Ty?
dog officer
Someone needs a second.
works for the
second.
police department.
You
That's
second it?
different than this,
Yeah.
though. That,
All
this
in
is
favor?
much more
Does the
limited in
dog
scope.
officer too.
Excuse me, Mr. Peter.
Huh?
Peter, yep, you wanna go? Okay, she second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
We were having discussion, Gino.
You always tell me to hurry up.
Do we have any correspondence we have to do or anything?
I don't think we have any, we already mentioned about the meeting we had, the three of us,
Yeah.
okay? We
I
have
don't
to
think
wait.
that needs to be,
No, it doesn't need to, until
Yeah.
we'll find out more about it.
yeah.
okay? I have to leave everything here. Oh, gee, man.
So I'd like to make a motion that we, adjourn the meeting.
Okay, any second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, see? Thank you, man.
It's off.
Even better, two beers, man.